If you're curious about what's being published in augmented reality, then stay tuned because this is episode 4 of reviewing experiences in over the reality. Hi, I'm Alexis Mercedes, and I'm the project manager for Fractal Labs. We are an app development team. We do web and mobile apps. We're also branching into the world of XR. On this channel, we mostly deal with over the free augmented reality app that is built in a blockchain metaverse. Very cool. If any of that sounds good to you, please like and subscribe. First up, we have Welcome to the Future by Cybernerdbaby. I believe I said her name correctly this time. If you don't know, Cybernerdbaby is responsible for many different experiences here in Overland, even when her name isn't necessarily on it. This one has her name all over it, and I believe it came out around the time of the release of their avatars, which are now available for purchase.
Welcome to the future. Emerging new media, the metaverse is becoming more and more like a lifestyle and a way of connecting people. But what if you could take it one step further? Imagine a world where instead of your screen being your only gateway to the virtual, you could physically walk into it. A world where you could experience the most immersive version of digital communication, entertainment, and education blended with your physical world. Welcome to Augmented Reality, the next generation of internet.
What I love most about this is that it has such a clear message and vision for the future. The story of the future doesn't have to be just, we're gonna compete for limited resources until we find a way to leave this rock. Like, there can be other stories. So I love that they've used this platform to put forth their vision for the future. There's nothing but mastery of this medium being displayed in this experience. Next up is Permalove by what I can only assume is the Wi-Fi password for somebody's mother's house. What a neat idea. If this entire thing is just like a love note or a totem to somebody's relationship. I believe these are all the same people, so you get this immersion in somebody else's love. But if we think about it in different use cases, can you imagine receiving this as a gift? Like, this is just so heartfelt and wonderful, and there's a larger than life component to it, and it's not just the photos. They've successfully enveloped other elements like the statue and this arc, this like, what's that called? A statement wall. So I'm really happy with it, and I'm really glad that I could experience that use case. Next up is another gem from Parrita Brava. We've been taken to the cinema. Things that are going super well here, having multiple layers. There's like out in the street with the cake and the penguin and the happy birthday sign. Then the main section is the front of a movie theater, and it gets my mind rolling on what can be done in AR, where we can showcase the beginning of a movie, we can create meeting places that are meaningful, that are the beginning portion of a valuable event. Then we get to go even further into the entryway of the movie theater, and here the experience continues the way that they've used many different materials, like the glass from the wall. I mean, we take it for granted when we're walking through there, but you know, they are putting a lot of work into making this variety. Also, as far as I can tell, Parrita Brava is the only person who is putting the Alethea AI into their experiences. And I love seeing that. It's on my to-do list for sure to go check that out and see if I can replicate what they're doing, just for the mere curiosity of it. Props for utilizing AI in a unique way. And this is a mesh of different metaverses because this AI lives in Noah's Ark. Next up is this amazing treehouse. This is Treeple Treehouse by my friend Altered Alley. They put out a few different things this week, and this one was my favorite. I like the colors and the textures. It's very immersive. Don't take a drink every time I say immersive. There's a definite sense of place. The way that they put the fencing around it, I think really worked. And I bet this experience would be really fun to use also in spatial. But let's talk about it in the context of overt, because I think soon we can do stuff like this. So I tried to go up these stairs by lining up the experience with actual stairs and going up them. And I had not a lot of success with that. I was able to load the experience down at ground level in my parking lot and then go up into my apartment and kind of view downward on the experience, so get a higher level view of the same experience. And that was super cool. But once mapping is a thing, then we can design experiences to specific places and create these multi-level experiences that work in over just as well as a VR app, but in AR instead. Next up is New Project by Lowfi Radio. They've been very consistent in including experiences to over. Every time I do one of these videos, I find work from them, and I'm always happy to find them. And I personally enjoy the music, so it's great to see that incorporated so well. Cooking so I tried to have a little fun by filming this inside of a department store, but it just felt really awkward, and I'm not sure the footage is worth it. It's kind of cool to take over a department store and turn it into a club. Something that's really neat about this experience is that it's somewhere between a nightclub and a gallery, which perhaps is the future of art. It gives me some very Andy Warhol vibes, which, you know, who doesn't love that? Speaking of music and AR, here's Kbot MVMF Throwback by Lead Better. I had the pleasure of meeting Kbot in my clubhouse room this week. Great person to be around, excellent energy and just a lot of passion for what we're building here. I hadn't yet entered the Over family when this music festival took place, so it was a great way to get to experience it retroactively. I like the way that they built these different characters so that it felt populated. They mixed media, so we've got videos and still images and furniture. Again, it's like a gallery that's also a nightclub. It's a fun space to hang out. And that's kind of a theme for a lot of the great experiences published this week, is that they're creating places to be and places to interact and communicate with one another. Kbot also did a really good job of making sure they put names of people and experiences so that the surfaces of this area are calling cards to the different people that they're collaborating with. So even if you're there alone, you feel in collaboration. Social media gets a bad rap for making us feel disconnected, but perhaps in Web3 we'll be more connected, and this type of experience is an example of how that might be used. have something new from lemusk. This is the Dahlia 3 Nature. I had reviewed a different Dahlia studio in the past, but look how we've grown. Yes, that is a plant pun. I still don't know what they're using this specific architecture for. Perhaps it's an example of something that can be built in real life, or it's meant to always live in a metaverse. Regardless of that detail, it's a fascinating situation. It has a high level of professionalism. I like all the details with the glass and the cement and having a wide variety of trees and them being placed in logical growth patterns. I did try to capture all of the different levels that are here. And although I'm doomed to stay on the first floor of this structure, I could feel the height of it because of the design. I'd love to have a little atrium like this. Is that what an atrium is? I think that might be an atrium. All right, I've been excited to show you Thread House because the Thread House project by Skylyfe is next level. It might not have a million bells and whistles, but it's so curated, it's very edited down, it's nothing extra, it knows what it is. If there had been more pieces or elements, it would have distracted from the speaker. So we have a clear center of attention and then a backdrop for this NFT headwear. As a person who has hosted release parties in the past, I can see how well this would work as a party for a product because people want to do different things in a space. Some people want to meander and look and have like lots of different visual options. Some people are happy to just stay front and center looking at the speaker. And some people want to mingle and talk with one another, and this creates all of that. So this is excellent experience design that would work very, very well in an IRL event, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work really well in a virtual event. There's enough window to the outside world that I don't feel like I'm completely transported to a different place. It has the AR effect of bringing something far very close rather than the virtual effect of bringing myself to somewhere else very far.
When you support the actual NFT project, it goes to support our incubator program where you are actually supporting the tuition or the salary of a student or teacher. We'll get more in depth in that, talk a little bit more about that, a little bit more to come.
This is a new project by Pedro that I've been calling the apartment. I haven't seen anything like this one before. The most similar thing I can think of is when Cheryl Spangler scanned her office using a LiDAR scanner. However, this feels a little more stylized than that. Like maybe it's a scan has a watercolor filter put on top. I don't know how this came into creation, but it's really cool and it's really unique. Stylistically, I haven't seen this before. I also haven't seen a lot of dwelling units. And if this is a scan of somebody's house, they have a really cool house. Like, I want to know whoever lives here, if a room is part of your virtual identity, which it is, this is saying really great things about someone's identity. It says that they're cultured, that they are interested in the arts and music and are sophisticated and grown up and truly interesting because there's so many different materials and textures and colors. Oh, I loved being in here. I could have spent a ton of more time here. Perhaps I will, but since I filmed this inside of a mall, I didn't actually feel comfortable spending too much time in there. I kept thinking I was gonna get in trouble for filming. And also I didn't want to piss anyone off by making them feel as though I'm filming them. I didn't really film very much of this episode outdoors because it was so hot. It was just so hot. I loved that this apartment had a ton of different things to look at and a ton of different things to offer. Many details that draw you in and make you want to look at the small things. And because it's placed on a singular surface, it doesn't feel cluttered or stressful or anything that can come from having too many objects in one AR space. It feels like all one thing. Mints by Winecountry NFT. How come their land is called Win-Win-Win? How did they do that? Did they get to pick that? Did they pick their own name? I've been told that soon changing your land name is coming, so maybe Winecountry NFT has beta access to new features. If you know the answer to any of these questions, please comment below. I am dying to know. So what I see in this experience is an excellent demo of a store space that can be sold to people curious about augmented reality. So if I were to approach perhaps a clothing designer, sorry y'all, my ring light fully overheated. So I've opened up the windows and we've got natural light now, so we'll be okay. As I was saying, if there was a brand that I wanted to onboard into augmented reality, I could take them to this space, walk them through and say, hey, imagine this over there and this being that store and this being over here. But I could also walk the owner of a hummus company through here and do the exact same thing. They've managed to create something that's so detailed and can tell so many stories, but also apply to multiple different types of companies, which is really impressive. Crypto Seed, I see you. Whoop whoop, doing the good work. How cute is this place? This is Puffy Diary. Like what? This is Puffy Diary by KMS 420. I can say that. KMS 420. This is surprisingly large. I walked around my apartment in a lot of different ways to get to see the different rooms. It loaded really quickly and I wouldn't have thought to utilize photographs as a surface of a table the way that they did here, but I think it works really well. It just now occurred to me that since I haven't played very many video games, that there's probably a lot of really standard graphic effects that I'm unfamiliar with, so I get to look at all of this with even fresher eyes than some people. Like, whoa, just put a photograph on a table. I don't know, I think it's adorable. They have a little mascot. What's not to love? What would you do in this space? Also in the mall, I filmed Purple Stage by Acapella V2, version 2 maybe. This place is already so like hyperdrive. This stage having like even more chaos in the background I think really works.
Your life is in front of you and it's telling you what you need to do. This fusion music of the 70s and 80s was probably some of the most incredible music that ever existed. Maybe it's time to bring back this music. To take that music now in the 21st century and kind of put a new twist to it with energy and young people doing it, interpret music. Some of the most exciting music ever written. I mean, all you gotta do is put on some of Al's old music or some of Chick's old music and go, oh my God, what were these young people thinking back then, you know? So it's an honor and a pleasure to perform this music. And I think people are gonna really like it.
And for Experience 13, we have The Garden by Artyom. The first thing I wanna note is that I love that they put by in here. As I've said in previous videos, Over doesn't have a spot to list the designer separately. So the owner is Marziale. And in all of these others, I've been saying by Pedro, by Skylyfe. I don't have a way to say who the designer is or who the art is actually by. All I know is the owner. So I like this workaround where you just put it in the title. This is by this person. Don't think it's intended for the designer to always be the same as the hex owner. So there should be a place to list both. I feel like they took my bouquet challenge and just went to 5 more levels where they took all of the flowers that are used in Over and added so much more. I've not seen water used in this way where they're like, and it's wet over here. It doesn't indicate like a pond or anything. It's just beyond natural reality use of water. That's really cool. I like that they put the big name tag for the space or the calling card flat on the floor. It took me a while to find, but it did also give me this aha moment, and it didn't feel like a big advertisement smeared on the wall. It was something that you discover with time once you've fallen in love with the space and gotten to really enjoy the space. I think that this statue right here is one of the assets that Over provides, but with a new texture on it. So they would have had to export it, change it, and then import it. Or they just found something very similar in Sketchfab or something like that. Does it evoke feeling? Yeah. Is it a cool use of this technology? Definitely. I also have to put out a major shout out to Lux VR, who put out a ton of experiences this week. I figured I either needed to include all of them or none of them or what, but instead I'm just doing a special segment at the end where I honor the fact that they put out a lot. They did this hilarious Sandalhenge, which is a replication of Stonehenge except made of sandals. There was this haunting character that flew around my house. There were grocery carts stacked in unnatural ways, books flying in the shape of a dancing character, and much more. So if you haven't seen anything by Lux VR, then you just haven't been on the app because it's all over. Thanks again for watching till the end. Next week, I'm hoping to put out a video on avatars. Wish me luck. But I will continue the series on reviewing AR experiences sooner than later. We'll put out a video every Tuesday. Special shout out to Daniel, who's now helping me with video editing. I am so thrilled to have you on the team and to not be working alone. To all of you Over creators out there, if there is a specific hex that you want me to check out, I will definitely review it and give you your flowers. I'm also open to collaborating in other ways. I'm easy to get a hold of. Just say hey. Please like and subscribe. Okay.